Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Carl Batombakal, and welcome to another episode of the Filo Step. My name is Carl, and this is my co-host Nico Rocha. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to the hearts of the Philadelphia 76ers fan base, in the form of Joel Embiid, who is now out for the rest of the season. So, Nico, your thoughts on this moment?
I think this is officially the end of the process, bro. I think this is not to jump the gun, but technically I did. But I feel like it's the end of the process. It's time to hand over the keys to start a new one. It's not gonna be a process anymore, right? It's gonna be a new phase of the franchise in Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. Dare I say to those young guards, and maybe the Sixers should file for that medical the forced medical retirement something, right? We saw that
Yep.
what a few days ago, wherein they will be compensated for some of Joel Embiid's salary if ever he needs to retire, which it's really looking like that. It's a classic case of like a Greg Oden, but Greg Oden never got to reach the levels that Embiid did. It's really far. Joel Embiid's a multi-time All-Star, centerpiece. He got to prove that he belonged in the stage. Even was with Team USA in the in France. But I think this is the end for Joel Embiid. For me, I rather protect my legs, my knees, if I still want to walk properly, because as you can see, that there's so much damage already that has incurred to his knees.
Yeah, and it would make sense for Joel Embiid to just call it a career because he's only what 30, if I remember correctly, turning 30 or he is about to turn 31.
Joel Embiid
Yeah,
age. Joel Embiid age. I'm typing right now. It's 30. Yeah.
he is 30. So at age 30, you've lost a big chunk of your meniscus. You can barely walk. You've had multiple surgeries. You're on the trajectory of Penny Hardaway, and it hasn't paid off for the Sixers. It paid off for a time when Ben Simmons was there, Joel with Jimmy Butler was there. But then the process just never came to fruition for the Sixers because we've always known that Joel Embiid had a very, very, very high ceiling, and it justified the Sixers taking him during his draft because it made sense for them. But now, if anyone who did their due diligence with that scouting report, it's like we all knew that he was going to have a great career, but then his prime would be very, very, very short. And I think now we're seeing that with him. It's not it's not there wasn't not there was not any warning signs. It meaning there have always been warning signs that this was going to happen. He missed a big chunk of his college career. He missed the first year of his NBA season. I think first two, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah,
then there were
it was
those,
like that, right? I think the first
diba?
two.
Yeah, diba? Like we always known him. Like he's gonna be great. He will be great. He will be an MVP type of player. But it's over. Like honestly, it's really over. And I'm not saying that just because I hate the 76ers or anything. It's because it's the truth. And
Mhm.
you're 30 years old. You're turning 31 by March 16. It is almost his birthday. It's almost 31. And you're having these problems already while you're supposedly at the prime of your career. It's time, dude. Like he just signed the super max, and I understand why the Sixers might be pushing for him to have a medical retirement, so to say, based on the CBA. So they can at least recoup some of what they paid him so far.
Can you believe he was MVP just 3 years ago, 2022, 2023 season?
Yeah.
Remember,
It,
it was just that recent about Joel Embiid, wherein he scored 33 points a game. That was just back in 2022, 2023, 10 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.7 blocks. And then this downfall, that of course, nobody wanted, but it just comes with being a 7 foot. Is it? I think he's taller than 7 foot. I feel like 7'2",
I,
7'3".
yeah, I think he's 7.
Yeah, I think it's the listed height, but I feel like he's taller.
Yeah.
Knowing Joel Embiid. Because he looks huge on TV,
Yeah.
right?
He does. He does. He does. even just during the media time, he looks big. But I think that's the problem also for him. Like
Mm-hmm.
the height has always been there. It's because more of I think it's more of the weight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I've ever seen a slimmed down version of Joel Embiid. Like the way he is now, it has always been his playing weight or close to it. So that most likely contributed to his knee issues.
Yeah, bro. And then, but in a way, he still looks healthy, right?
Yeah.
For a guy who's still not like Zion, wherein you're like, okay, he's really fat. You can see catching strays, right? I think Zion catching strays. But I think, but go just talk about briefly about Zion. I think he's in the 260 range right now, which is really good.
Yeah. He's dropped weight.
Because
He looks a lot slimmer, at least.
all right, it's not only me who noticed that one. I think there are also articles where they mentioned that Zion's looking a bit slim, but it doesn't really move the needle considering that the Pelicans are in the bottom of the whole NBA, not just in the West.
Yeah, I think it's more of a next season type of thing for Zion. So
Hmm.
at least the Pelicans have a next season. For the 76ers, I do not think they have a next season because if I remember correctly, I think they're losing their pick this year to OKC. I think
Hmm.
because they didn't choose to tank and they still owe a pick to the Sixers. I think that's from the I want to say the Paul and then not the Paul George trade. I forget which one,
Hmm.
but I do know that they're losing a pick this year. So it's not a good sign for the
Yeah,
immediate future of the Sixers at all.
yeah, man. Like I'm looking at the roster right now of the Sixers, and at least they still got some pieces
Hmm.
with again Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, who had 44 points
44
against my
points.
Warriors, against my Golden State Warriors. And you can just imagine one of the many blunders of Nico Harrison this year. That was the trade 1 to 2 days after the Luca one. Remember, I think they
Yep.
traded for Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
So and it just flew under the radar. But we already know that it's really a horrible season as well for Nico Harrison. With the Mavs are now in the play-in, while the Lakers are jumped to the number 2 seed. But aside from that, going back to the Sixers, do you think that is the right move? Do you think that making Embiid retire already is the right move for when it comes to their salary cap space, or there's no need to rush it? Consider he's just 30. Why not miss this season then next year and then hope for a comeback at age 32? How about you, Carlo? What do you think?
If you were to ask, if you just if I was actually thinking about that exact same
Yeah,
question before we went on this podcast.
yeah. Because there's no
Um,
rush for me. There's no nothing to
yeah,
rush.
there really isn't, and there's like 200 million reasons to stay. If I was
Yeah.
Embiid, I'm taking as much time as I can to get that money before I ultimately call it a career. But then when you think about it, you're going to lose a year plus and a half, I would say, on your career for recovery. And there's no clear solution, or it's not entirely clear whether that surgery will help you or not. So
Mhm.
it's looking like there's a Lonzo Ball situation in that people are going to recommend him to have a meniscus transplant, but then at the same time, where are you going to find a meniscus from a donor that will hold up to the playing style of Joel Embiid, who enjoys crashing on the floor, diving for the ball, bumping with the big boys in the block? So I don't think it's going to be beneficial for Joel to keep his career going. But then I understand because again, there is 200 million reasons why to stay and to at least give it one last shot before he ultimately calls it a career.
Yeah, that makes it okay. Maybe one more shot. But
Yeah,
I won't
he's
blame
at
the
the crossroads.
Sixers. Yeah, but I won't blame the Sixers if they really give up on Embiid. It was a good 9 years. Well, it was 11, but the first 2 years he didn't play. And on the third season, if you check it, he only played 39 games based on
Yeah.
basketball reference, which is like a well, back then, of course, you're like, oh, he's still young. We can fix
Mm.
that and everything. But sad case for the Sixers, who looking at the Eastern Conference standings, Scott, it still looks like they could enter the play-in as a 10 seed.
Oh yeah, they
Who
can. They're
knows?
like
They might find that moment, and they're in the East,
yeah, they're
so
just
there's
two
a
games
chance.
behind. They can make it, I would say, but then what's the point of making it in the play-in at this point? Like you're not gonna have Joel for next year at the very least. It looks like Paul George hasn't been up to
You got
par.
4 more years. You got four
Sandbar
more
again.
years. You got
Yeah, plus
four
the
more years
player
of
option at
PG.
age 37. Oh my god. And then
Player
you have
option
Tyrese
at
Maxey.
age 37. Ah.
Like it's a dumpster fire in Philadelphia and it sucks for them. But it's time to give it up this season. Like they're 2.5 games behind the Bulls, or at least two. And then they're
Yep,
going to face either the Heat, the Magic, or the Atlanta Hawks in the play-in.
I'm
And
looking
then
at
they're
all.
most likely going to get bounced by either the Cavs or the Celtics. There,
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
you
winning.
know it.
There's no point. There's absolutely no point to this season.
Would you if Jared? I know Jared McCain's already out for the whole season, but for some reason, if they make the playoffs, would you play Jared McCain? I think you
Hell
would,
no.
right? You
Hell
won't.
no. No. Why
You're
would I
even if
risk it?
they
Why would I
make
risk it?
you won't risk it. You just like, okay, just
Like,
take the whole year off. You got a
yeah,
whole
there's no
career
there's
ahead of you.
dude, there's no point. They're gonna face the Cavaliers. They're gonna face the Celtics.
They're gonna get popped.
Why? They're gonna get messed up in 4 games. So what's the point? What really is the point for the Sixers this season? It's a lost cause, man.
Well, for me, I again, thank you for the 9 years. You think a team would trade for him?
Nico Harrison is taking calls apparently.
Nico Harrison is how about a 80?
Big
80
for big.
for big, both all stars.
Oh my
That'll
god.
be
But then,
crazy.
might might be something that happens, knowing how crazy Nico is with the rest of the organization in the Mavs. You think?
No, he's not gonna do that. No, not gonna do that. He's not gonna do that, bro. He's not gonna do that.
I
The
hope so.
Quentin Grimes though was like a steal for the Sixers. I like that pick. I've always been a believer of Quentin Grimes ever since he was with New York
Mm,
because he got the confidence of Tibbs, right? And I
yep.
was shocked that they traded him to the Mavs, and then now he's with the Sixers. I feel like he's always been a solid. For me, his ceiling is that he's gonna be a solid starter. That's my ceiling for Quentin Grimes. But who knows, right? Maybe he becomes an All Star one day. But that's a great pickup for the Sixers.
Yeah. I think on the Quentin Grimes situation, I think I'd put on the like he's the type of sixth man guy. Like you would want someone with instant offense, but at the same time he also knows when to differ or to just play defense because he does have some defense with him. He's had like I think he's averaging point 0.8 steals, or am I
Mm-hmm.
1.1? I think around that range. He knows when to play his man. He knows when to be aggressive on defense. He knows when to be aggressive on offense. But I think what most NBA players today are forgetting, like they also have to know when to scale it back a bit, let others shine because you can't be the star every night. Like I think that's one of the more important parts of the NBA this season, or at least the recent years, that people are kind of forgetting. Like you still need the elite role players to bring you to a championship.
Yeah, actually. But they're not. But the pieces they have right now, it's not gonna push them towards the playoffs. And I think it's also too late with this
Yeah.
record. But I think next year, now that they have a clear, what do you call this? Like they have a clear vision that okay, there won't be any Embiid. Paul George is declining. Maybe we can restructure our offense around Maxi, maybe to an extent Jared McCain. Because we don't know if that was a flash in the pan, right? We don't
Yeah,
know if
true.
that, or
True.
it was like a Jeremy Lin moment that you
True.
haven't been scouted as much yet. That's why you had those numbers. But if he's able to replicate it, then great for the
True.
Sixers.
Yeah.
Can you
I
start
actually
Maxi
agree.
and McCain together,
Ooh, that is
right?
a terrible idea.
So
I
you
would say it's a
prefer like
terrible
okay,
idea.
Jared, it doesn't look good on like just you imagining it right now. Like it's two skills that are redundant.
Unless either Jared McCain or Tyrese Maxey finds their defensive groove. Because I can see Maxey being an elite or at least
Mhm.
a borderline solid defender. Jared McCain's more of a question mark because again, we've only had less than half a season of seeing him. So he's gonna be a big question mark next season. But then yeah, it's gonna be one of those guys. Either they both step it up, either one of them becomes the leading star, which is already Tyrese Maxey's position. So you're gonna have to put Jared McCain off the bench,
Which I think it will be
which might
fine.
make sense, which would be fine
Yeah, he's not gonna be
because he's still
demanding that.
developing.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah.
I had a good 20 games or something. You should start me over Maxi. I don't think we're gonna see that, right?
Yeah, I don't think the kid has any ego actually. Like people hate him for making TikToks and for being the NBA's version of Zac Efron in High School Musical. But then oops, the kid can play. He can ball. Like he's just not the traditional type of guy like you would see in like Anthony Edwards, like an SGA type of guy. You know, he has his own lane. He knows what to do. But then yeah, it's going to be either Maxi becomes a defensive stalwart on the wing for a point, or Jared McCain becomes a solid defender off the bench. So I don't think they're going to be starting both.
Oh well, at least luckily for the Sixers, they have those guys that you mentioned, and maybe they could flip Paul George for something. I feel like Paul George will get traded next year, like in the middle of the season, for like scraps,
Like a trade deadline team
like a
type of
trade
thing.
deadline. So it's either he boosts his stock. I feel like if he still performs really well, he's still gonna get traded regardless.
Yeah,
I
it's like the Phoenix Sun situation. They're just gonna have to blow it up some point. Like I'm
oh,
sorry, this is
I
like
feel like KD's
the
gone.
third
I feel like
time.
KD's gone after this season.
Yeah, I'm betting KD's gonna be going somewhere.
Mhm.
So it, KD fit, but then it's just it didn't work. It just didn't work. So it is what it is type of situation. It's the
It
same
is
boat
what
where
it
the Sixers
is.
are in, and it's the same situation where the Nets are also in, coincidentally. But then somehow the Sixers are paying more to
Mm-hmm.
their core than the Nets, and they're only better than the Nets by one loss.
Actually,
It's a loss season.
it's
There's no
a
play in to look forward to. It's time call it off, man. Just it's a tank. It's over. It's over for those guys.
yeah. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much our episode, guys. It's mostly
Yeah.
on the Sixers. Not really much happening right now, but be sure to follow our pages on YouTube and then on
On
Instagram. We love posting
Instagram.
our Instagram. It's like a meme page for some sort, but we enjoy it. We enjoy making those shorts.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we do. So yeah, that's it for this episode. It's been fun, Nico. Nice talking to you again. Hopefully this week will be a lot more drama filled. Let's see some text. Let's see some suspensions. Let's see some
Oh,
fights.
let's see some Texas. This
I'm trying to
guy's
see some fights, bro.
or well, let's see if we could make something out of it and post it on our reels.
Hell yeah. All right, so that's it. I'm Carl, and this is Nico. That's the latest episode of Filo Step. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
See you guys.